On the morning of February 24th, 2023, a man named Joseph Ryan drove to a house in Herndon, Virginia. He had never been there before. He didn't know the family who lived there. He had been invited by a woman he believed was named Christine, someone he had been speaking to online for weeks. She had sent him a photo. She had arranged the visit herself. She had told him exactly what to bring. He brought a knife, chains, and rope, because that's what she asked for. He knocked on the door. He never walked back out. Inside that same house, in the basement, a 4-year-old girl was waiting. She was waiting for her father to take her to the zoo. Her father had other plans for that morning. Christine Banfield was 37 years old. She was a pediatric intensive care unit nurse, someone who spent her career at the bedsides of critically ill children, keeping them alive through the worst moments of their families' lives. People who worked with her described her as dedicated, compassionate, and fiercely committed to her patients. She had been married to Brendan Banfield for nearly 11 years. He was 40, a criminal investigator for the IRS, someone whose entire professional life was built around following money, detecting deception, and building cases that held up in court. They had a 4-year-old daughter together. From the outside, the family appeared stable, comfortable, normal. In October 2021, they hired a live-in au pair to help care for their daughter. Her name was Juliana Peres Magalhães. She was 25, from Brazil, and had moved into the Banfields' home as part of a standard au pair arrangement. By August 2022, according to prosecutors, Brendan Banfield and Juliana Peres Magalhães were having an affair. By the end of that year, according to Juliana's own testimony at trial, Brendan had told her he wanted to get rid of his wife. He did not want a divorce. A divorce meant lawyers. It meant splitting the house, the assets, the custody of his daughter. It meant Christine having a say in what happened next. What Brendan Banfield wanted, according to prosecutors, was something cleaner. Something that would leave him as the grieving husband, the heroic father, and the sole beneficiary of everything Christine had. And because he investigated financial crimes for the federal government, he believed he was smart enough to make it work. What Brendan and Juliana allegedly constructed over the following months was, in its own disturbing way, elaborate. Step 1. Create a fake profile for Christine on a website called FetLife, a platform for people interested in BDSM and sexual fetish communities. They used Christine's own laptop to build it. They used a bathing suit photo she had privately sent Brendan on Facebook, downloaded, edited, and repurposed without her knowledge as the profile picture. The profile was called Anastasia. Step 2. Find a man. They found Joseph Ryan, 38. He was not a criminal. He was not dangerous. He was a man looking for connection who found what he believed was a consenting adult woman interested in meeting him. Over several weeks, Christine, actually Brendan and Juliana, communicated with Ryan, building a scenario, a rape fantasy involving a knife, chains, and rope. He was told to bring those items. He was given the home address. He was told not to stop, even if the woman screamed. He had no idea he was being choreographed into a murder. Step 3. The morning of February 24th, Ryan arrives at the house. According to Juliana's testimony, Brendan Banfield shot Joseph Ryan. Then he went upstairs and stabbed his wife Christine 7 times in the neck with the knife Ryan had brought. Then he came back downstairs and directed Juliana to shoot Ryan a second time with her gun so that 2 different firearms would be found at the scene, further implicating Ryan as the perpetrator rather than the victim. Then Brendan called 911. He told the dispatcher that he had come home to find a man attacking his wife, that he had retrieved his firearm and shot the intruder in self-defense, that he didn't know who the man was. He left his gun safe open, to make it look like he had grabbed the weapon spontaneously, in a panic, rather than having it already in hand. He poured some of Christine's blood on Ryan's body. Then he waited for police to arrive. In the basement, his 4-year-old daughter was still waiting for someone to take her to the zoo. The initial 911 call sounded like a home invasion, an intruder, a struggle, a husband defending his family. Responding officers treated it that way at first. But it didn't take long for the story to crack. The first problem was the firearms. Ryan had been shot twice. The bullets came from 2 different guns. A home invasion scenario, one intruder, one husband shooting in self-defense, does not produce 2 different weapons firing at the same body. The second problem was the digital trail. Brendan Banfield was an IRS criminal investigator. He knew how to follow digital evidence. He apparently did not fully appreciate how much of it he had left behind. Investigators found the FetLife profile. They found the account had been created from Christine's laptop, but the geolocation data, the browsing patterns, and the activity timestamps told a different story about who was actually operating it. They found messages. They found the photo of Christine, downloaded from a private Facebook message she had sent her own husband. They found something else too. 8 months after the murders, when investigators returned to the Banfield home, they photographed the master bedroom, the room where Christine had been killed. On the nightstand, clearly visible in the evidence photo, was a framed photograph of Brendan and Juliana together. He had moved his au pair into his dead wife's bedroom. In September 2024, 19 months after the murders, Brendan Banfield was arrested. In October, Juliana Peres Magalhães was arrested as well. She initially maintained she was innocent. Then, after nearly a year in jail, she made a decision. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter. In exchange for a 10-year sentence and her freedom after serving it, she agreed to testify against Brendan Banfield. Brendan Banfield's trial began in January 2026 in Fairfax County, Virginia. He faced 4 counts of aggravated murder, use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and child abuse charges, because his daughter had been present in the house during the murders. He testified in his own defense over 2 days. His account, he had nothing to do with the murders. Yes, he was having an affair with Juliana. Yes, she had moved into the bedroom after Christine's death. But on the morning of February 24th, 2023, he was not in the house when the killings happened. He said he came home to find his wife already dead and a stranger dying on the floor. He denied knowing about the FetLife account. He denied knowing about the plan. He denied everything. The defense's strongest argument was technical. The prosecution's own digital forensics expert had concluded, after peer-reviewed analysis, that Christine Banfield, not Brendan, appeared to be the primary user of the FetLife account. The defense seized on this, arguing the investigation had locked onto Brendan too early and never seriously considered another explanation. The prosecution secured a guilty verdict against Brendan Banfield by presenting a strong combination of physical, digital, and eyewitness evidence. Location and timing. Geolocation data placed Banfield and his lover, Juliana, together at a gym while actively messaging on FetLife just days before the killings. Broken alibi. Banfield's supervisor contradicted his whereabouts on the morning of the murders. Eyewitness testimony. Juliana testified that the plot was Banfield's idea. She acted out of fear, and she personally witnessed him stab his wife. At the sentencing on June 6, 2026, Brendan Banfield told the court he had lost faith in the justice system. He maintained his innocence. Judge Penny S. Ascarate was not moved. She sentenced Brendan Banfield to life in prison without the possibility of parole, the mandatory sentence under Virginia law for aggravated murder. During the sentencing, the victims' families shared their profound loss. Christine Banfield's brother remembered her lifelong dedication to caring for children, while the court learned that her daughter, just 4 years old at the time of the murders, is now 7 and growing up without her mother. Joseph Ryan's family spoke of the horrifying deception that stole the 38-year-old's life, explaining that he walked through the door expecting a consensual encounter, completely unaware that the entire online profile and invitation were orchestrated solely to lure him to his death. He was a federal investigator who spent his career reading crime scenes. He staged his own, left the gun safe open, blamed a dead man, life in prison, no parole. Christine Banfield deserved better. So did Joseph Ryan. If you enjoy cases like this, the ones with layers, the ones where every detail means something, you're in the right place. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss one. Drop a comment below. Tell me which case you think deserves to be told next. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.